everyone feeling today? Okay, let me try that again. How is everyone feeling today? There we go. Yes, you know, you get to decide how you feel. And sometimes if you get asked, how are you feeling today? You ever have that? Make a decision. I feel fantastic. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz, the senior minister here at this beautiful spiritual center. And we are here to celebrate love. So why don't we start that by kicking it off with our opening song. If you feel like you want to get up and dance, feel free to do so.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Spirit's here and the time is right for dancing in the street. They're dancing in Toronto, street. And in Nigeria, they're bopping up in Sweden. In the street. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging and swaying and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, everyone, dance and twirl everywhere around the world. Let's start dancing in the street, dancing in the street, dancing in the street. This is an invitation across all nations, a chance for folks to meet. They'll be laughing, singing, and music swinging, and dancing in the street. Philadelphia, PA, dancing in the street. Santa Fe and DC, dancing now. In the street. Can't forget Motor City, dancing in the street. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging, swaying, and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, everyone, dance and twirl everywhere around the world. Let's start dancing in the street, dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Up in Thunder Bay, dancing in the street. Every day they're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Let's form a long line, dancing get in time. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street. Across the ocean blue, dancing me and you. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street.
I hear people going, uh-oh, he's got a lot of energy today. I was just thinking about the people who may be joining us for the first time today saying, why did they change all the lyrics to the places? And it's because we're referencing where people actually watch us online. So hello to everybody who watches us online. And yes, that does include Nigeria. We have a member of our church who lives in Nigeria and is studying to become a Unity minister now. Yeah. So once again, yes. Good morning, beautiful humans. Welcome to another glorious Sunday at Unity of Tucson. We are a spiritual community here to teach practical tools for a better life. Those practical tools that we teach are spiritual in nature, and as we engage our spiritual practice, what I have found by engaging my spiritual practice is life just gets better. How about you? Awesome. So I would love for you, if you have a smartphone and feel like you want to pull that smartphone out of your bag or out of your pocket and go to either where we are streaming live on YouTube or on Facebook or on our website, and use the chat function in one of those places just to reach out and say hello to everyone who is watching with us live here online today. I always love to make sure that the people who are online are as much connected with the people who are here in the room as I possibly can. And then when you're done, make sure you turn your ringer off. But you can keep your phone out because I like to take notes on my phone, so I know that not everybody's the same way, but you can keep your phone out if you want. Now, one thing that I would like to remind everyone of, my weekly reminder, is you may not believe everything you hear today, right? Right? Is that okay? Of course it's okay, because what we're here to do is to not make you believe anything. It's to help us, each and every one of us, get in touch with what it is we do believe. And as we address what it is we believe, we get to determine if those beliefs are working for us. So it's about discovering what you believe. So we do teach doctrine here, but I always say doctrine is meant to be questioned. So let's question today. Does that sound like a good thing to do? Awesome. We have a vision and a mission that we carry here at Unity of Tucson, and I would love for us to share together by reading out loud the words of our vision statement. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. And the vision is how we see the world. The mission is how we get there. And so let us share together these words of our mission statement. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And everything for me distills down to those statements. Every week, I get in the middle of typing my notes up for whatever I'm going to say that Sunday, and I think, oh yeah, this is how we're going to remember who we are. Oh yeah, this is how we're going to love only. Oh yeah, this is how we're going to forgive everything. And so it is a guiding way that we can transform our lives. And I'm grateful that you've joined me in the commitment to live these principles. If you are joining us for the first time today, let me first acknowledge everyone who may be joining us for the first time online. Always grateful to have you join in a virtual way. If you would go to unitytucson.com/connect, you can fill out some information there and we can keep the connection going. And what a delight it is to have this time to share with you. Now, if you are in the room and you are here for the first time, if you are comfortable with standing up to identify yourself, we have a gift that we would like to give to you. So is there anyone who's joining us for the first time today? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Yes, yes, yes. And if you would remain standing for just a moment. Glorious, glorious. Welcome. Grateful to have you here as well. Hey, William, would you? Oh, Ross has got it. Okay. Actually, I did say, if you could just remain standing for a moment. If you've already sat down, that's okay too, because we know who you are. But I have to tell you that we knew you were going to be here today. And so we did a little research into who you are, and we have found out something that we would like to share with you. So is everyone ready? Here's what it is that we would like you to know. You are magnificent. Yes, you are. Thank you for shining your light, sharing your magnificence. Now, we know that about you, and it is a little joke, but we know that about you because every person that we encounter is a reflection of that which is inherent within each and every one of us. And so I would like for all of us to claim our magnificence by stating, I am magnificent. How does that feel? Let's try it again. On the count of 3. Magnificent! Yes! Would you please welcome today's keeper of the flames, who is here to light the flames of faith, my mother, Lynn Peterson. This ritual is something that we have adopted here at Unity of Tucson, and it is an acknowledgement that all faith traditions, all religious paths, they're all born out of one common golden thread of love. And so let's celebrate that with each candle that we light.
First candle that we light is a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. This candle we light is for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way to primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light this candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universal religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, for the space that we are keeping open for them in our hearts. We light this final candle to represent the healing of any circumstances that requires divinity to be revealed. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and heart that requires the light. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. The candle here on your left is our peace candle. We keep the peace candle consistently illuminated with this understanding that its consistent illumination represents the consistent illumination of peace in our own hearts. And as we allow that peace to be realized in our thoughts, our experiences, our intentions, our actions, that we are right where we are. We are creating a more peaceful world. And so let's honor this candle by sharing together the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace begins to reign in the world. Indeed it does. Here today, we have the blessing of our prayer chaplain of the day being the leader of our prayer chaplains, our fearless leader, who is also the president of our board of directors. Please welcome Laura Cass with a reading, an affirmation, and a prayer.
That all felt so good. I just feel like I need a little kind of bring it all together here for a moment. Well, it is so fabulous to see all of you, all your beautiful faces. This morning, in lieu of a reading, I'm going to tell you a little story. And this is a book that I read quite recently, and some of you may have read it. It is called The Dalai Lama's Cat by David Michie. And the wonderful thing about this book is that it is written in the first person by the cat. Now, this poor little cat, almost half dead, a baby kitten, abandoned by its mother, out there in the mean streets of New Delhi, and as the Dalai Lama and his chauffeur are coming from the airport, stuck in a traffic jam, the Dalai Lama sees this cat, this kitten, baby. The driver gets out to get it, and they take the cat home, to the home of the Dalai Lama, where the kitten is nursed to health, and the kitten comes to realize that he is living in this fabulous place, that this is indeed a very special place that he is living with very special people. There are all sorts of steady stream of visitors coming all the time, minor, major celebrities, people who think they're celebrities, the heads of state, various religious people, and the cat comes to realize that every day here in the presence of the Dalai Lama, there is a lesson to be learned, no matter how subtle that lesson may be. So this one day, a neighbor comes in, whose name just happens to be Frank, and they know this person. And this fellow comes in and he's wearing numerous blessing bracelets. And he has come in to ask the Dalai Lama, what is his next step in his spirituality? Who should he have as his teacher? And one of the monks who is there says, well, how can you have time for that? You are a very busy person. And the man looks kind of like, what? And he said, well, each of those blessings, that's a commitment you've made. There's an initiative there that you have made a commitment to your spiritual path. And this takes time. The man never thought of it that way. This was kind of just like a lot of tchotchkes about how important I am. So the cat is taking this all in. And the cat is sitting up on the file cabinet, licking and licking and licking himself, licking and licking and licking himself, like cats do. And finally, the cat starts feeling, oh, this really funny thing in his stomach. And he jumps down from the file cabinet, runs into the hallway, too late. He hawks up a giant fur ball. So, remembering that this is an allegory, what does this all mean? It is all meant for us to be looking inside, not outward, out there, to whatever it may be that is otherwise catching our attention. Our work is here. It's all an inside job, every bit of it. So, how many of us wear our tchotchkes or obsess on that which we think others may pass judgment on? Is it to show our worthiness as human beings? We're all worthy. We don't need to do that. We are all worthy human beings. Being our authentic selves is the most important thing we can do. And the allegory in this story is that we need to be shedding that which is our unauthenticity. So, as I read this, I thought to myself, well, Laura, how many fur balls have you hawked up in your life? So, making me aware with something to work on inside here, inside me. Not worrying about any of this and knowing that my faith, my love, my spirituality, my kindness toward other human beings, the path to compassion, as it is in Buddhism, it's all on me, on the inside here, and it's nothing else. So I'm working on my fur balls. And in my conversation with the cat, she said, well, I'm going to work on mine too, but you know, I'm still a cat. So there'll probably be some more of those from both of us, but we're all doing the best we can, right? So I'd like to read the monthly affirmation and just leave you with the thought that, how are you and your fur balls doing? That's your choice. So let's take our monthly affirmation. I'm going to say it once, and then we will say it together twice, very thoughtfully and very, very lovingly. So our affirmation this month is, I understand, and I understand that I am a fully realized experience of God, source, and energy. Together, I
am,
and I understand that I am
a fully realized experience of God, source, energy.
Once more.
I am, and I understand that I am a fully realized experience of God, source, energy. Just taking that in for a moment. Just take in those words. Allow them to free anything that is contrary. Let it shake loose and fall away and settle into an infinite experience of opening.
I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening.
spiritual reality. I am aware of my wholeness as it is my spiritual birthright. This awareness infuses every aspect of my being, my body, my mind and emotions. I find strength in knowing that my wholeness comes from God and can never be diminished. I am one with all life. As I let my inner light guide my thoughts and actions, I express kindness and compassion. I believe in our capacity for mutuality, kindness, and respect. With every breath I seek and find spiritual understanding. I celebrate our shared divine humanity. The light of understanding guides my way, and I know that God is my source. And so it is. Amen.
I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to
Thank you, Laura. Each week, when we bring our featured song of the day, we have certain slots that happen during the service. This is the slot that we call the featured song of the day. And it's one that we try to mix up and bring new songs that sometimes you haven't heard before. But today you're going to hear a song that you have heard before. And I am delighted that Alexander Lionheart is bringing this song to our community. And I am delighted with the person that he has brought with him today to share her magnificent talent. And I'm going to let Alexander introduce this particular individual. Alexander Lionheart.
Good morning. So I'm really excited and proud to share one of my voice students with everyone today. Her name is Beth Kyoko Williams. And she is a very famous karaoke person in Tucson. She frequents all the karaoke bars. So after today, if you're out and about in town, maybe you'll get to hear her.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some chose to believe it. I know that they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, dreamers, and me.
Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
All of us under its spell, we
calls the young sailors, the voice might be one and the same.
I've heard it too many times to ignore it.
Something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Beth Williams, Alexander Lionheart. Such a treat. And I hope that you'll come back and sing again with us. We'd love to have you sing again. Thank you. As they were singing the song, I started thinking about the nature of what we do here. Here, and I do mean literally here at Unity of Tucson, and the way things have shifted and changed with the introduction of my style of ministry. And I know that it's shocking to some people, my style of ministry, because I infuse who I am in all that I do. And yes, for decades prior to becoming a minister, I was a musical theater actor. And so I bring a lot of that to what I do. Part of that is because I believe that we can be enlightened through entertainment, and that is part of my vision of ministry, enlightenment through entertainment. And so when we experience artistry, I think that it is something that can lift us up and really is more powerful. Art is a more powerful tool for changing the world than anything else. And so that's why I keep bringing it and keep bringing it and keep bringing it. And I encourage others to find their own voice within that as well, to find that artist that lives within you, because an artist does live within each and every one of us. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, first of all, I don't know if you noticed that I made a rainbow today because I knew we were singing Rainbow Connection, and I thought, oh, let's put a rainbow up on the wall. But how many of you were up early enough, as I was driving to be here today, to see the extraordinarily beautiful rainbow that it was all over? Like, I saw people on Facebook all over posting this rainbow on pictures of this rainbow. Wasn't it extraordinary? Did you see it this morning? I'm sorry you didn't see it. I thought, go look on Facebook, because it's everywhere on Facebook. I just thought, well, how perfect is that? That we've got the Rainbow Connection happening today. There's a rainbow that is glory, in all its glory over Tucson today. And then it made me think about the song that starts off with these words. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? It's a good question. Have you ever really given thought to that question? And then have you ever tried to identify what those songs are that the song is referring to? I mean, there's the obvious one, right? Over the rainbow. So I went and looked online. I was like, how many songs, like in the time preceding the writing of this song, how many songs about rainbows were there? And I found a whole bunch. So there's a song called There's a Rainbow Round My Shoulder from 1928 that was made popular by Al Jolson. Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows, 1965, Leslie Gore. I'm Always Chasing Rainbows, 1918, by many, many recording artists. Swingin' on a Rainbow, 1960, Frankie Avalon. Rainbow Rhapsody, 1944, Glenn Miller and his orchestra. So I thought, oh, well, the song is actually asking a legitimate question. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? At the core, I think that we resonate with rainbows because they represent hope. And you don't hear me talk about hope all that much, because, as I always say, and in alignment with, the writings of Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of religious science, he wrote, hope is good, it's better than despair, but it's an unconscious compromise. It's an unconscious compromise, because if we are living in a state of hope, then we think that there is something that can fail. So I want to let go of that conscious belief that there may be something that can fail. Hope can mean having only positive expectations, because I love an acronym. Having only positive expectations. If we live within that, then hope can actually be more akin to faith. So rainbows represent the faith of something better. And yet within that, there is an elusive quality, because we cannot get to the end of the rainbow and find that pot of gold, really, right? It's the challenge of always trying to reach for that and reach for that and reach for that. But what's really great is that reaching can keep us forward moving. That the desire for something better keeps us in the state of spiritual evolution. So we cannot get to the end of the rainbow physically, but our path may be to find our way there consciously. That's really, I think, what the path is. After all, Dorothy had to find out that the power was in her all along. It was not over the rainbow. It was not some place she was ever getting to. It was within her all along. And the power is within each and every one of us. That's the truth. So what it takes is not magic, sorry, to the lyrics of the song, but in fact, it might be an application of practicality. I talk a lot about practicality from up here. Part of the path in this thing called spiritual practice is that if it's not practical and useful in our lives, then what's the point? If it's not making our lives better, what's the point? So we must allow ourselves to make it practical and find practical application and actually use it. We must actually apply it. And this goes very much in line with the fifth principle of the 5 principles that we teach in Unity. And the fifth principle is this: we choose to live from and activate this spiritual teaching beyond an intellectual understanding. It is saying we are taking that journey from understanding it down to embodying it and allowing ourselves to truly live wholeheartedly in the practice of it. Sometimes, though, we need to begin with an intellectual understanding. And that's one of the ways that we approached it this week. Now, you may be wondering, what do you mean this week? Well, if you were in my Wednesday night class, a lot of this is going to be a little bit of a rehash. But I thought that this was such an important idea that I wanted to bring it to the larger community because it makes sense to me. So this week in class, we're studying the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. And this week in class, the reading led up to looking a lot at what was in our lives, those things that perhaps don't feel so good that we want to change in our lives. And this has been a multi-week process to get to this point so that I'm trusting next week we'll be able to move past the what was into what is and what will be. And it translated itself both in class and also in my mindful moment, which is a video I do on Facebook and on YouTube every single day. And here's what I came up with. It made me think, what was is an important clue, balanced with what is and what can be. What was can be an important clue to the flow of our lives, balanced with what is and what can be. And so then I was considering how I wanted to teach this in class, and I thought to myself, oh, wait a second, I have the perfect idea. And it goes back to when I was the administrator for my church more than 10 years ago when I was studying ministry. Wow, it's a long time ago. Because I became a minister 11 years ago. So now it was almost 20 years ago when I started studying ministry. One of the things that I had to do was, now remember, I was an actor. I didn't know a lot about business. I didn't know a lot about anything except how to be on stage. Actually, I knew a lot about a lot of things. But I mostly knew how to be on stage. And when I took over as the administrator for my church, when I went into the study of ministry, I became the bookkeeper. Really exciting job to be a bookkeeper. One of the things I had to do, though, is start to understand how bookkeeping works and how to read financial reports. And so there's this report that eluded me for a really long time called the balance sheet. So oftentimes, and it happens in our board meetings, we go to our profit and loss statement. We're like, look how well we're doing in our profit and loss statement. And we're like, that balance sheet, what does that mean? I don't really know. Let's look at the profit and loss statement. Balance sheet has a lot of really good information. So I'm going to explain to you how a balance sheet works. The balance sheet indicates that everything must be in balance, right? And so how do you find that balance? Well, you have things that are called your assets. And your assets equal your liabilities plus your equity. Everyone's like, I did not know I was coming here for a course on finances. This is going to be spiritual, I promise. So your assets equals your liabilities plus your equity. So that's how you basically read a balance sheet, because you've got your assets section, and then down below you've got your liabilities and equity. And the totals will always be in balance. Now, we're going to turn this around a little bit, because if your assets equals your equity, or your liabilities plus your equity, then your assets minus your liabilities must equal your equity. Make sense so far? Okay. So, I'm going to ask you this question. What is an asset? Rhetorical for the moment. An asset is anything, any resource we have that has value. A liability is something we own. That is our debt, okay? So those things that we have that have value minus our debt equals our equity, which is the remaining value. Making sense so far? Oh my gosh, like everybody's gonna go, I learned how to read a balance sheet today. So here's the thing. If your assets are greater than your liabilities, then the remaining value is positive. If your liabilities are greater than your assets, then your remaining value is negative. We don't want that, right? No. Now, there is a way to understand consciousness through this construct. You ready? Your spiritual assets minus your perceived liabilities equals your self-worth. What was that? Ooh. Okay, so if we take this and we say, assets, what are spiritual assets? And now I'm actually asking the question, does anyone have a thought on what a spiritual asset might be? Positive beliefs, right? Faith, kindness, understanding. Good call out for the theme of the month. Spiritual assets are any positive or constructive belief or thought. Here's a major one. I am magnificent. That's a spiritual asset, right? To what degree do you believe it? 100%. That's a good answer. 100%, Mary says. So what are some perceived liabilities? It's hard. I'm not good enough. I can't. Anyone else? Nobody ever wants to talk about the liabilities, right? So if your assets are the perceived, if your spiritual assets are the constructive or positive beliefs or thoughts, then your perceived liabilities are the negative or destructive beliefs or thoughts. One might be, this is one of my favorites, I never get the breaks. How many of us are walking around, I never get the breaks? I mean, nobody in my family ever gets the breaks. Have you looked at my family history? None of us get the breaks. The degree to which we embody that as a belief is the degree to which we are now taking away from our spiritual assets. And what does that equal? Our self-worth. If your sense of magnificence is greater than the perception that you never get the breaks, then you may have a positive sense of self-worth, and vice versa. If your sense of self that you never get the breaks is greater than your sense of magnificence, then you will have a negative sense of self-worth. I know, we can break this all down to formulas. Can you believe that?
Hey, he made us
I did. I made them actually. You're giving away possibly the homework. I actually made them all take out a piece of paper, and I made them write out all of their spiritual assets, and then I asked them to quantify them, to put a number next to them, and then do all of their perceived liabilities and put a number by them, total those up, do the difference, and see what they felt their value of self-worth was. Yeah, you just gave away the homework, thanks.
It was great.
So here's the thing about that, though. What we are doing here is working in the direction of managing our spiritual investments to drive up our self-worth. If you want to increase your equity, your self-worth, then where do you go in this? For me, I would go to increasing my spiritual assets. Now, there's a thing that happens in our culture. The thing that happens in our culture is that we devote a lot of our time to our liabilities. If we are continuing to devote a lot of our time to our liabilities, what we know is that what we put our focus on increases in our life. And so the liabilities will continue to increase, and they can eventually wipe out the assets to such a degree that our self-worth is completely tanked. So our work here is not to put our focus on the liabilities, even putting the focus on how do I get rid of these liabilities. No, our work here is to devote time and effort and energy into a particular undertaking with the expectation of a worthwhile result, so that we can increase, I keep pointing to it and it's now gone, so that we can increase our spiritual assets. I gotta remember that if I'm gonna keep referencing something, I just gotta keep it up there. To increase our spiritual assets. Our work is to devote ourselves to the constructive, to the positive, to that which is going to grow us. And here's how I know that it works. Because Alexander Pope offered this to us. Order is heaven's first law. So everything must always be in balance. Everything must always be in order. That is the nature of nature. That is our nature. And so as we devote the time and the energy and the effort into our spiritual assets, we don't even need to look at those liabilities anymore, because what's going to end up happening is our assets will grow to such a degree that will increase our equity that the liabilities will become moot. Even if we continue to have them, if we are growing this, which in turn grows this, the liabilities don't matter anymore. The nature of the universe is always balance, and there is a power in truly embodying and understanding this. The truth of who you are is infinite magnificence. I say it every single day. Every single day. You know why? Because it makes a lot of people uncomfortable to hear that. I want to normalize magnificence. I want to normalize across this globe the sense that we are magnificent, not because of anything we do, it's just the core of who we are. Gosh, I'm really like spitty today. It's magnificent, Mary says. So now I'll tell you. So I come from a musical theater background, and I got a reputation for when I would sing. And I would be in a scene with somebody. And you can't do this as well in COVID anymore, right? If somebody was right there and you're singing a love song, it's like, it's really sexy. If by that I mean not at all for the person, but everybody in the audience believes it. All right, so how much time are you devoting to trying to eliminate your liabilities, and possibly doing so at the expense of increasing your assets? That is a rhetorical question. They're all furballs. Yeah, you didn't know how right on your story was today. The furballs are your liabilities, right? If we truly focused on increasing our assets, the weight of the liabilities would decrease, because the equity, your self-worth, must balance. So let's worry less about eliminating the perceived liabilities. That's the witch hunt we can sometimes go on. Why was I thinking that? Where did that belief come from? Let it go. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be now moving forward? Invest in that, and it will take care of what was. Take more time to invest in the spiritual assets. Investment strategies include meditation, prayer, affirmation, visioning. Oh gosh, how do we make an investment in our spiritual assets? Spiritual practice. Finding a consistent spiritual practice and knowing what works for you. Life is meant to be lived in infinite potential and possibility. Live the life of the possible, not what seems impossible. I love that you mentioned before that a liability is I can't. Because one of our assets is I can, and I know that I can. I know that I can because I know who I am. As we do this, as we engage in this practice, we are contributing to that universal balance sheet. Because this works at the level of the individualization as well as the level of infinite consciousness. As we contribute to the consciousness of spiritual assets, we are doing so universally, and we are shifting the entire experience of the universe. We have that power right where we are. Imagine the increase of self-worth among all people if we truly remembered who we are and understood that truth about every single person out there. If we walked about understanding our sense of value, our sense of worth, and recognizing that that is true for everyone, that we are all this infinite power, we are all magnificent, we are all God, because there can be nothing separate from the infinite God, that infinite principle and power. When we know that truth, and when we remember who we are, you know what happens? Love and forgiveness become a default. So those other two aspects, doesn't matter. They're going to be our default setting. So take a step back and consider too that in this natural order, it is important to remember that all liabilities are perceived. They are not real. Actually, none of it's real. It's all made up. But let's truly apply this to the liabilities. Because if you actually addressed the liability and asked yourself the question, is this true? Like, is it really true? I think most of the time you're going to find out that those things you keep holding on to are not true. And so, rather than try to suppress them, squelch them, or get them out of the way, move in the direction of your spiritual assets, the truth of your being. One of my favorite lyrics in that song, didn't know I was going to bring it back to the song, did you? One of my favorite lyrics in that song is, "What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see?" We actually default to wanting our spiritual assets to take hold. That's why we show up here on a Sunday, I think, so that we can be reminded of the truth of our being. We don't have to wait for someday. We don't have to wait for someday. If we choose to make an investment, then someday is now, right here, right now. The nature of our spiritual assets is always growth. That's the other thing I love about it. You make an investment in your spiritual asset, it will always grow. It can never decrease. So we are consistently living in a spiritual bull market. So, the practical guide I offer is this today. Invest in your spiritual assets. Don't weigh your focus on the perceived liabilities, because what you perceive, what you put your focus on grows. And let us, through example, embolden everyone to a greater sense of self-worth by being the example of being the magnificent spiritual investment advisor to ourself and to all humanity. Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. So I will say, if you would like to do that exercise of writing down your assets, quantifying them, writing down your liabilities, quantifying them, which means putting a number next to them. In the class, we said just rate it 1 to 10, how strong it is in your life, and then totaling up the assets, totaling up the liabilities, and then subtracting the assets from the liabilities to get a quantifiable number sense of what your self-worth is. You can do that. That's not really the homework. The homework is to actively invest in your spiritual assets this week. Up level. This is what I'm talking about. Up level your prayer practice. If you have a strong prayer practice, up level it this week. If you have no prayer practice, engage a prayer practice this week. Practice affirmations. Find what works for you. Practice affirmations. I love to do my affirmations in the mirror. You know why? Because it makes me uncomfortable. You know why it makes me uncomfortable? Because it butts up against that sense of liability that I can carry with me. But the more I do it, the more that sensation of liability slips away. And the third thing to perhaps consider is, at minimum, engage in one random act of kindness every single day and see how that increases your spiritual assets and drives up your self-worth. I'm going to invite us all to relax right where we are. Check in to see if there's any kernel of truth that resonates with your soul here and now. And just let that idea be present for you as we expand our awareness, expand our sense of being, expand beyond what we perceive to be limitation into the magnificent understanding that we are a unified wholeness. That's the truth.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
Right here in this moment, in this pure moment of perfection, knowing that there is no past, there is no future, there is only this moment here and now. I settle into a deepened awareness of the One, God, this greatness on demand, this infinite creative principle that is all things. Everything that exists is the flow and function of God, spirit, source, energy, and it is all in a harmonious flow. And since there can be nothing separate from the infinite, I recognize and know and affirm that this is the identity of each and every one of us. We are that very power and presence. We are the light, we are the life, and we are the love of the divine energy. And I trust in that, this claim, we are magnificent. And I choose from this point of view to invest more in those spiritual assets, those positive, constructive thoughts and beliefs. And as I do so, I know that I am driving up that sense of self-worth, that understanding of self-worth. And I know that as each and every one of us commits to this in our own unique, magnificent way, that we are collectively driving up the sense of value of this thing called life globally. All is well in this unfoldment of magnificence. And so I let go
And I trust and know with gratitude overflowing from within that this is the truth of my life, and I invite it to be the truth of my experience. I allow it to be wholeheartedly as I relax, release, let go, and allow. And I affirm it by saying, and so it is. Amen. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me, and it returns to me.
I'm going to step over here for a moment to turn on the lights on the downstage area so that our magnificent Roberta Latham, who is a member of our board of directors, can share a few words with you.
Thank
There,
you.
you're in the light now.
I can see the light. Good morning, magnificent people. I love that lesson. I want to talk about the word hope just a little bit. I mean, hope is great, isn't it? Aspiration, where we want to go, goals, dreams, rainbows. What does it take to get there? What is one thing that hope is not? You probably know the answer. It's not a strategy, right? Have you heard that before? We have to tell ourselves that sometimes. Oh, I hope this is going to happen. Well, how is it going to happen? So, hoping that we continue on this wonderful path that we're on now of, what do you want to call it? Not profitability. We're not in it for that. But supporting this wonderful institution that we appreciate and love so much, and that we can show up, we can take classes, we can volunteer, we can do a class, we can join the wonderful music and these wonderful voices, which is such a great opportunity. How do we support that? Well, you know what it takes? Dinero, money. So, no, I don't speak Spanish, just enough to be dangerous. But I'm here to ask that you continue to do what you're doing, or start doing it if you haven't done it yet, and contribute to this great institution, because it's a village. It takes a village, right? And this is a wonderful village with wonderful resources. There are lots of ways to give. We're going to put up a sign here with a number to call and a way to go online. If you want to become an automatic giver, there are little cards in the back of the seats that have instructions on it about how to do that. That's really the easy way. If you're already an automatic giver, and as the baskets come around, please take one of the cards out of the seat and put it in the basket. So we who are counting money can say, oh, look how many people are automatic givers, because that's really the greatest. We're doing great. We can do better. We have hope, and we have a strategy, right? So thank you all very much for being here. If the baskets can come forward now. We have Gavin, Ross, Don, and Bill, right? Thank you all very much. So, good deal. Thanks.
Thank you, Roberta. Let's take out whatever it is we're offering the community here today and hold it perhaps right next to our heart and share together our givingness statement. I share this gift with love, conscious of the inner presence as the lavish source and substance of my supply. I am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me. And so it is. As the baskets go around, we're going to sing a song.
Feel free to respond where it's right to respond. I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love. Sing that.
I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
Gets high. I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiply abundantly.
Around the world and beyond.
circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Oh, circulation across the nation. It's a love vibration around the world and beyond. I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
I circulate my love.
I circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Oh, 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 oh.
Before you begin, she doesn't know that I'm doing this, but I would like to introduce, hey, Ross, stay here. We have to do the blessing. She doesn't know that I'm doing this because she's not aware that this is a done deal now, but I would like to introduce to you our newest member of Board of Directors, Sherry Hoffman, who was appointed this week to an open term, and we are deeply grateful for all that she is bringing to the board. But she is also one of our prayer chaplains, and she is here to do a blessing over the offering. Sherry Hoffman.
Well, let me ground myself for a moment there. I thank you all for the gifts that you give. And I know that each one of these gifts that are in that basket, maybe they're a penny, maybe they're $1, maybe they're millions of dollars. But I know that every single gift is a beautiful, beautiful exchange of energy that will now go forth from that basket into the community of Unity and be used in such special, wonderful, beautiful ways so that we can spread and share the love that we gather here in these moments. And with this, I acknowledge and I affirm, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
A couple of things that are happening. I would like to let you know, it was handed to me, just a reminder that Unitix, which is our social group, is going to be doing an outing to Flandreau Planetarium next Saturday to see the show that starts at 2 o'clock. So the gathering is intended to begin at about 1 o'clock next Saturday afternoon. If you would like to sign up to be part of that group, you can sign up out in the foyer, and you can see Molly if you have any questions. Hello, Molly. She's waving her hand back there. Grateful for all the ways that you put magnificent outings together. Molly is, of course, our coordinator and manager of Unitix. So thank you for all your service, Molly. I do want to let you know that this is the final week that we are collecting for Bears in the Chairs. We collect from Mother's Day to the final Sunday in July, which is our Christmas in July service, so get ready to be in the holiday cheer next week. We collect these magnificent stuffies so that we can give them to Aviva Children's Services, supporting those magnificent young people who are being transitioned into foster care. This is an ongoing tradition that we have here at Unity of Tucson, and I'm so grateful that we get to participate in our community in this way. The other thing I would like you to know is that if you are able to support and help out next week, after the service next week, they're going to be collecting, counting, putting the stuffed animals into bags, and getting everything ready for delivery. So if you would like to be part of that, you can see Carol Withy. Carol, she's waving her hand right there. There she is. You can see Carol about how to participate in that. The other things that are happening here, we are collecting this weekend, next week, and throughout the week, jars of peanut butter. As part of Interfaith Community Services, we are collecting on their behalf 14 to 16 ounce jars of 14 to 16 ounce jars of peanut butter. Their goal is to collect 10,000 jars to support people in need. They're trying to do that during the month of July. So we've got another week to collect as many as we can here, which will then get delivered to Interfaith Community Services. Dinner, gala, and silent auction. We are still looking, of course, for stuff for our silent auction. If you may, I'm going to make you wave your hand now. Sherry Bolin is heading up our silent auction, and if you have anything that you are able to donate, please see Sherry. You can also reach out to the office, and we will get you in touch with Sherry if you're not able to meet with her today. Tickets for the gala go on sale a week from tomorrow. Well, yeah, just don't get excited then. Okay. What is the gala? It's going to be a fun party that we're having on September 30th to celebrate this community. They keep trying to make it about me, and I keep saying, no, it's not about me, it's about us, it's about the community. So I want you to know that in my heart, it's all about the community, although we will be celebrating the fact that I did get my doctorate from Emerson Theological Institute. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Fall classes begin in another couple weeks. Susan Smith is teaching Metaphysics 1 every Wednesday beginning August 10th. I will be teaching Unity Prayer beginning Thursday, August 4th. The prayer class is online only. The Metaphysics class is going to be hybrid in the classroom and online. If you would like to participate in one of those classes, you can sign up online or in the bookstore. Our prayer chaplains in service today are Laura Cass, whom you've already seen, and Sherry Hoffman, whom you've already seen. They will be available for a moment of prayer. If you need a moment of prayer following the service, they will be on either side in the middle of the sanctuary, and you can seek them out, and they will be happy to engage in helping you find in your heart that 1-minute miracle. I would love for our magnificent youth to come up on stage. I think they have some stuff to share with us today. Here they come. Did you have fun today? Yeah, that's good. So are you going to share with me what you did today?
We made balloons and we painted love and fishes.
You painted love and fishes together.
And we drawed on our balloons that we made. And we got a flower cup. There were different colors. And we got a squishy thing, and we got necklaces. You were very busy.
You were very busy. That's wonderful, wonderful.
So we're just continuing on with our summer adventure camp. We have a whole gaggle of kids here today, so that was awesome. But please know that you are welcome to bring one time or many times anybody that is a little one in your life, grandchildren, visiting family, always welcome with us. We always have lots of crafts and projects. Our theme is the 4 agreements. We're on the second agreement, which is to never take anything personally. So today we talked about if people say things that are unkind to us, we do not have to accept that. And what do we say? I
don't like that.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. I do agree with that lesson, though. Yeah, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody who made today possible. Wally and Don and Rowan, our technical team in the back there, thank you so much for your service. Offer my magnificent gratitude to Laura Cass and Sherry Hoffman, our prayer chaplains on duty today, as well as Lynn Peterson, who is our keeper of the flames. Thank you. Where did she? There she is. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to this magnificent group of musicians, our band here, led by Linda Ackerman. What a delight it is to get to work with you every week. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Alexandra Lionheart, and let's give it up for Beth Williams as well. So we're going to end the day here by sharing together the prayer of divine awareness. Let's say this together. I am infinite light. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. And we'll kick it out into the streets with a little bit of God making me want to sing.
I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. feel so good I can do most anything. One more time, I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. Makes you feel so good I can do most anything. Makes you feel so good I can do most anything. Woo! It makes me feel so good I can do most anything. Make it a magnificent week, everyone.